Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Joelle and today we have a yoga practice for the SI joint and really the entire pelvic area. Really great if you have tension or any pain or discomfort in this area. I would ask that you have 2 yoga blocks handy for this practice. If you don't have blocks, you can also grab just a couple of firm cushions or leave them out entirely. And we're going to get started on our backs with the feet flat, and the knees are right above the feet. And then take your hands and kind of hold on to your hip bones. So closing the eyes, bringing a little bit of attention already to this area as we take a few opening breaths in and out through the nose. And then imagining that your pelvis is like a steering wheel. I'm going to take some little twists of that pelvic area. So one hip kind of hiking up a little bit, and then let that hip glide down as the other hip comes up. So just a small motion here, just kind of waking up that area. Still breathing nice and deep. Noticing any differences from side to side. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring the arms alongside the body. Press into the feet, squeeze the glutes, and lift the hips up into bridge pose. So holding here for breath. I'm going to take some more small motions here. So I want you to squeeze and release just one glute at a time. So alternating left and right. And as you squeeze that glute, each time that hip will hike up a little bit higher than the other. Again, just noticing perhaps one side feels more challenging than the other, still keeping the knees and feet hips width apart. And let's take 2 more on each side. And then before we lower down, just take hold of one block or cushion if you have one nearby. And either on the lowest level or second level, place it right underneath the sacrum and just let yourself rest there. So again, a few deep breaths here. You're welcome to keep the feet planted, or you could straighten the legs, or find somewhere in between. Just letting yourself be supported, feeling a gentle stretch perhaps into the front of those hips, into the hip flexors. Stability so important for the SI joint, which does the work of supporting the weight of the entire upper body. Very common area for tension for many of us. And if your legs were extended, you can walk the feet back in. Press into the feet just long enough to lift up, remove your prop, place it over to the side. And then pull both knees in towards the chest, one hand on each knee, and then separate the knees. And then keeping the knees exactly where they are, release just your left hand and transfer it over to the right knee. So both hands are holding the right knee now. The left knee is still in towards the chest, but the weight of the hands is encouraging that right knee, perhaps a little bit further down, a little bit further in the direction of the right shoulder. 2 more deep breaths here. And then the left hand will return to the left knee, just holding center for a moment. And eventually that right hand gently releases the right knee, shifts over towards the left knee. And same thing, weight of the hand, dragging that knee towards the left shoulder, towards the ground. And the right knee just kind of hanging out in space. Final breath here, slow and steady. And then returning right hand to right knee, closing the knees off, just giving yourself a little hug, a little rock from side to side. And we're going to make our way to hands and knees, so either rocking forwards and back a few times, or just rolling over to one side to find your way there. The shoulders above the wrists and the hips above the knees. And just like before, we'll find a little bit of motion. Start by tucking the tailbone under, slight squeeze of the glutes, engagement through the lower abs, and keeping the tops of the feet on the mat, start walking the knees in place. So one knee lifting up just an inch or two, and then the other. Top of the foot still staying on the mat. Take a couple more at your own pace, keeping the elbows straight. Really trying to center this motion just on that pelvic region. Last one each side. Really nice. And then just sit your way back into child's pose. Hands can crawl out ahead of you. Forehead can rest either on a block or to the mat. Just a few breaths here. And then lifting your way back up to hands and knees. If you have those blocks nearby, you might want to take hold of them now. We're coming to a low lunge. So stepping the right foot forwards, perhaps inching that left knee back a little bit, resting the top of the left foot down. And really releasing here, sinking the hips low. You're also welcome to have fingertips on the mat or bring the hands to the front knee. Really, whatever it is you need to find some sensation in the front of that left thigh, into the hip flexors. Maybe you find that after a few breaths, you're able to find a little bit more release. Maybe you choose to find a little bit of motion, rocking side to side here in this low lunge. And then if you are using blocks, maybe just setting them off slightly to the side, keeping them nearby, planting the hands and tucking the back toes. to find your way into downward facing dog. And here you can pedal out through the feet, shake out through the neck, find any little movements that feel nice for you. And then sink your left heel towards the ground. Just pick up that right foot, float it above the ground, and we'll lift and lower that left heel a few times. So just making that single leg work. Lifting and lowering. And returning right foot to the mat. Same thing, second side. Pick your left foot up. And then lifting and lowering that right heel a few times. Still pressing the mat away with all 10 fingertips. And returning that left foot to the mat, lowering through the knees. We'll find our low lunge on the second side, perhaps with the help of our blocks. So stepping that left foot forwards, maybe inching that back knee back. You're very welcome to take a few rocks, take a few sways. Remembering that this side may be very different. Perhaps you take the blocks to a different level. Perhaps you're more comfortable climbing the hands onto that front knee. Wherever you are, sinking those hips towards the ground. Inviting tension to let go. Once again, if you're using blocks, maybe shifting them over towards the side, either taking downward facing dog again or returning to child's pose, your choice. Just a few moments with the eyes closed. And if you are in downward facing dog, lower the knees softly down. And swing the legs off to one side. We all end up sitting at the back of the mat with the legs out in front. And we're going to take a little bit of a funny motion here, walking our way forwards. You might like to clasp the hands in front of the chest, or you can rest them on the legs. And just start kind of inching your way along the mat. Just moving your way forwards. You're welcome to keep the knees bent, whatever works for you. Just bring some motion into the pelvis. And once you get pretty close towards the top of your mat, or once you run into a closet, as the case may be, we'll work our way back. And maybe you notice that one direction is a lot less smooth or a lot less natural than the other. Again, that's just kind of something to notice about ourselves. And let's try that one more time. Maybe you go a little bit faster, find a little bit more life and energy in the motion, working our way forwards, and then coming back. And good for you for trying something a little bit different today. And once you've done those 2 trips forwards and backwards, find your way towards roughly the center of your mat. We'll come to turtle pose. So turtle pose is very similar to butterfly, with the soles of the feet together, knees out wide. You're welcome to sit up on a block again if you'd like a little bit of stability under the pelvis. Either way, place the hands to the knees or the shins to sit up tall. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, bring the chin towards the chest. And then start to round through the upper back. Rounding through the middle back. Eventually letting the weight of the upper body take over. Folding yourself forwards. You're welcome to keep the hands resting somewhere on the legs, weighing them down. Or there's also the option of sliding the forearms underneath the legs. Just letting yourself hang heavy. One of my very favorite poses of all time. Wonderful for stability and balance of the pelvic region. Great for the lower back. Let's take a few final deep breaths here. And if you'd slid those hands underneath, you can free them up. Press the hands into the mat to tiptoe your way back up. Bringing the hands behind you, maybe giving those legs a little bit of a shake. And then finding any comfortable seat that is right for you, feeling the weight of both sit bones, grounding down, maybe even sway yourself a little bit from side to side, picking up one sit bone and then the other. And then feeling yourself evenly balanced in the center, resting the hands anywhere you'd like. And all together, let's take a deep breath in through the nose. And a deep breath out through the mouth. And I do hope that you enjoyed this practice. Thank you so much for sharing it with me. If you would like to continue working on the stability and openness of this entire region, then I would recommend that you check out my Tight Hips Fix, which you can find by clicking right there or by clicking the first link in the description box below. I hope to practice again with you very soon. Please like and subscribe and have a beautiful day.